Hello guys, my name is Textureman and this is the part number 2 of automotive visualization. In the first part, we already set up the camera view and we create all the materials, and today we are just going to finish these renders. We need to create two environments. One will be environments for the car shadow or the ground shadow, and the second environment will be actually the lighting the car itself. So let's start it. But before we start, I'm just going to mention you can always support me on my Patreon, which is linked in the description, and you can download these 3D scene and 3D model from my Patreon, so go and check it out. And if you want to support me, hit the subscribe button as well. So let's start working on this render. Alright, we need to create environment, so we are going to the environment tab right here, and we are just going to set up the new environment. So click on this button, create new environment. We are going to click to the HDRI editor. We are going for the highest resolution, and we are going to set up these as the black color. So there is no lights in the scene. We are going to create a new pin, which is the pin light, and we can move this light on this part right here, or we can just click on this and we can just click on the car so the light will point itself. So we need to make this light smaller because we are just going to create the shadow on the bottom. You can see if I bring this value up, you can see how it looks. All right, we got almost no shadow on the ground, so we need to make the light small and we need to increase intensity to 10, and we are just going to play with these lights around, and we are just going to create something similar from the reference image, and it will be maybe something to like this. This is the sliders which actually slide the lights from left to right and down up. So I'm going to use these sliders, so something to like this and something to like this. You can see these lights is pretty similar what we got on the reference image. I'm just going to make these values a little bit more interesting, something to like this. And this is all right. And this is our first environment and first render. So I'm just going to click on done and render these in high resolution, this HDRI. All right, the main idea is to create two render and combine them together. First render will be this ground shadow, and the second render will be actually the car itself. So this is the we can call these environment shadow environment. I hope I write this correctly, and I'm just going to create the new environment. We are going to lightning the car right now, so we are going for the black, and we need to create our first light, so we are going for the rectangular lightning, and we are going to increase this size, and we are going to make it more brightness, and we are also going to make this light fold, something to like this, and we are going to point this light something to like this. We want to point on these edge, so something to like this. All right, and maybe I'm going for something to like this and something to like this. All right, this is looking good. So we are going to create another light, so another pin light. We are going to make this rectangular. We are going to increase this size. We also going to make the fall of 1, so the light will be soft. And we are going to point this light to the other side, so something to like this, and we're trying to light these parts right here. So maybe this will be something to like this. I'm just trying to match the reference image. So maybe like this. This is completely up to you how you want it to look like. I'm just really trying to match the reference image, but you can make it your own if you want. So this is all right. And we need to create another light. And this time we are going to create the circular light, and this light will be soft. The size will be a little bit bigger, 35, and okay, I'm going to increase this brightness on the second light. So I'm going back to my circular light and I'm going to increase brightness as well. And we need these lights to be something like here to get these parts lightning or light up these parts. So, okay, I'm going to move this light a little bit like this, and you can see what's going on. We are trying to lighten this area right here, but I'm just looking for the right angle. So maybe to like this. All right, this is looking really good. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this one. I'm going to bring it a little bit here, and we are just going to increase the brightness. And we are going to make this a little bit more to the left side. And maybe a little bit more down. We are just trying to lighten this area, these light, this glass. So okay, I'm going to duplicate this one as well, and I'm going to the bottom, and I'm just going to move this light something to like this. All right, and I'm going to move these sliders again. So something to like this and something to like this. Okay, this is all right. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm just going to click on done button, and I'm just going to render these HDRI in full resolution, and I'm going to wait a little bit to get more samples and actually to see what's going on. All right, it started looking really good. All right, the final step is to create some final adjustments. So we are going to use these settings, and this is like pretty handy. You don't need to render like preview image and go to the Photoshop and see how it looks. You can just make the final adjustments right here. You create the new style, and we are just going to use this photographic style, and you can see it's completely changed the visual of the render. And the samples going up, you're just changing these final output. So we are going to make the exposure a little bit higher, something like this. Okay, maybe 0.25. And I'm going to make sure I'm in linear mode, because you can see what's going on when you're going for low contrast. Low contrast actually looking really good. So, but I'm going to stick with the linear mode, and I'm going to use this contrast slider right here. So we are going to just increase these contrast, something to like this. we can use denoise if we got the problem with the noise, but this is like really good, and you can see the samples going pretty fast. So I'm not going to use denoise, because every time when you check this denoise box, you lose some details. You can see it completely smooth out the whole image. Of course, you can make this value lower, but I'm not going to use it right now. So I'm going to stick with this. And this is pretty much it. Alright guys, so the final step is the rendering. So we are going to render this image. So I'm going to hit this product mode. So it will be focused on this car. And we are going to change our environment to our first environment. And we are going to our render tab. We are going to click on the render. We are going to use the output. And we are going for the 4K resolution. We need the cloud pad, we need the shadow, we need the raw, and we are going for the PNG format. And we are going for 256 samples to get less noise in the image. We are going to use 16 grain bounces, 3 anti-aliasing. Oh my god, English is my biggest flaw. We are going to use 3 for the shadow and 3 for the global illumination. And we are going to press this button to add job. So we got this in the process queue, so it's not rendering right now. And we are going to change our environment. And we are going to use exactly the same settings, and we are going to press this button as well. So when we hit this button, process queue, it will render first image and the second image. So it's pretty handy if you want to render multiple renders, and you can also render different scenes, and it's pretty handy. So we are just going to use this. We are going to render this image, and then we are going to make the retouching. So guys, see you in the second. So I'm just going to pause the video and go straight to the Photoshop. Alright boys, rendering is done. This is how it looks. Render number 1 and render number 2. We need to combine them together and open them in the Photoshop. So I'm just going to import these pictures to my Photoshop. So picture number 1 or render number 1 and the second render. And we need to duplicate or copy this shadow straight to this image. So we are also going to load our wire color for easy selection, and this is all right. Also, we are going to import wire color right here. We are going to hide this wire color, and if we select this magic wand tool, we can still select the parts from wire color based on color what we want. So, and I'm just going to hide this, and I'm going to copy this background. So select background, Control Shift copy, and now we are just going to paste our shadow right here, and you can see we successfully combined these two images or these two renders. So we don't really need this one anymore. So I'm just going to close it, and we are going to merge these two layers, something to like this, and we are going to fix some issues, and that's the issue number 1. That's these white spots around the tires, and we are just going to create the new layer, and I'm going to pick my brush tool, completely black color. I'm just going to zoom it a little bit more, and I'm just going to paint something to like this to fix it. So we are going right here. We can see there is also this problem. So right, maybe a little bit more here and more here, and also this one as well. Okay, something to like this. All right, it looks so much better. So I'm going back to my 50% view. And we are also going to merge these two layers, so something to like this. All right, the next step is to convert this object to smart object. And we are going to use one of the best tool, and that's the camera raw filter. And we are going to make this image a little bit more interesting, or this render a little bit more interesting. Now, there is nothing like the right way when it becomes the Photoshop and post-production, because you can create so much more variation. I want this image to be a little bit more cooler, so you need to bring this slider to the blue volume. And if you want the image a little bit more warm, you just bring this to the yellow. So I want something to like this. This looks really good. Something to like this. You can also try these sliders, but I'm not gonna use them for now. And you can also see how it looks. But I'm going to back to my camera raw filter, and I'm going to continue to editing this image. So I'm going to make it just a little bit more brighter, something to like this. All right. And I'm going to check the contrast. I really like this contrast look, so I'm going to use something to like this. All right, highlights. Okay, just a little bit. I'm going to bring the shadow up because we got more resolution here, and we can clearly see what's going on. I also like these black tires or these black wheels, but I'm going to bring it just a little bit more up, something to like this. All right, that's really nice. And I'm going to play with this value as well. All right, something to like this. And something to like this. If you don't know what this slider is doing, just bring this value or bring the sliders left and right, and you exactly know what's going on. And you can see when you playing with this texture, it's really popping out the all details. That's really nice. So maybe something to like this. All right. Okay, and I'm going to bring this to -5, and I'm going to press OK. And now you can see how it looks before and after. Before, after, before, after. You can clearly see just with one steps, you can really change the overall look of the render. And we are going to improve this paint a little bit more. So I'm going to click to my magic grain tool. I'm going to this layer, and I'm going to select these red parts and hide these. And I'm going to bring these levels value, and we can play a little bit more with the color. And I'm going a little bit more up with this. You can also check what you're actually changing. You can also make the black version, but I will show you that later. I'm going to bring this value to 5. All right, and a little bit more. Nope. This is all right. And we are going also change a little bit more this glass. So select the glass. You have to be in this channel or layer. And we are going to change these glass part as well. So levels. All right. Something like this. And we are going to change a little bit these lights, because in the real render or reference render, it looks a little bit different. So I'm going to adjust these red, and I'm going for levels, and I'm going to make them a little bit more dark. All right, something like this, and this should be all right. Okay, I'm going to check how it looks. Okay, this is actually good. And also we are going to change these yellow or orange light indicators, so levels. And again, we need to make them a little bit more darker. Right? And we are going to change these wells as well. So bring this up, and I'm going to select this and this, and you can see there is like few colors which are not selected. So I'm going to select it as well, and yep, also this. And if you got like these small parts, you just have to make these feather radius free. Press the OK again, because you can see there is also missing this. All right, that's good. Hide those. Again, go to 50% view, and again, levels. And we can adjust simple the veil. These wheels, you can make them bright. Like this. This is actually really good. Or you can make them, but I want a little bit more resolution from these wheels. So something to like this, and make them darker, and a little bit of this. Maybe something to like this. All right. This is really good. I like it. All right, actually something like this, make it darker. Okay, and I'm going to select these wheels, and I can also select these. And we are again going to make the levels as well, and we are going to make them a little bit more contrast. So something to like this. And we are going to check how it looks. This is nice. We are going to make these whole grill a little bit more darker. So I'm going into this channel or layer, and I'm just going to select it like this. All right. It don't have to be super perfect. This is something like the really, really fast way. something to like this. We are going to hide this one, and again back to 50. Okay, I'm actually going a little bit closer, 75, and I'm going to the levels, and let's see how it looks. Yeah, definitely we need to make it a little bit more darker. So something to like this, and a little bit more contrast. So okay, that looks really good. And we finished almost everything. So yeah, this is how it looks. This is our final render I'm going to show you. It's really nice. You got white and white render and looking really good. So I am going to export these as my PNG, and I'm going to change the name. So something to like this. And yeah, and I'm going to show you something a little bit more interesting. We are going to change the colors of these cars. So we are going back to our layers, and I'm going to select these like car paint. I'm going to create this new channel, which will be the hue saturation and also the levels as well. So the levels, and I'm going to bring these levels a little bit down, and I'm going to make sure we are going to make the black variation, and you can see how it looks. It's really nice. But first we are going to repaint this car, so something to like this, and when you make this huge saturation layer, you can completely change the color of the car, and you can make really interesting renders, something to like this, and you can bring more this color, so something to like this, a little bit this, and you can see how it looks. Okay, and you can make like really crazy stuff with this. So for example, I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to make this car black, so something to like this, and this will be like 10. And I'm going back to my hue saturation layer, and I'm going to bring this value right here, and we can make something really cool, and we can change also these lines right here, and we can play with this car a little bit more. So for example, we can make it red and make it completely different. So hue saturation, colorize, we are going to bring this channel up. We are going to make it a little bit something to like this. This we are going to bring up, and you can see what you can make with it. So we are going for the red. I'm going to select this again. I'm going for the levels, and I just need to bring these color up. And you can see how it looks. And you can repaint it really like how you want it. Maybe you can change the wheels if you want to make it again a little bit more interesting if you want. So you can have a really lot of fun with these. So guys, I'm going to delete these few layers. All right, actually, I'm going to bring it back, and I just need to delete these 3 layers right here. All right, boys, that's it. That's the final steps. And this is the final render, and I hope you enjoy my tutorials. If you enjoy them, hit the like button or subscribe button. And if you want to download this 3D model or this 3D scene, check out my Patreon page and you can access all my files from tutorials. So link is in the description. Have a nice day and have a nice render. Bye.